Hello everyone, it's Let's Me Sin. Using the voice of the president and I have a strange question to ask everyone. When does a kink go too far? The origins of this question is odd itself because it originates from one of my guilty pleasures. When I draw the art you see before you, it's not uncommon for me to be listening to lolcow content because nothing says sexy like pulled panties and Cyrax yelling slurs at strangers.
And everybody knows that I'm not racist, but this, Marty, is for you. And I know you know what that means, bitch.
In a video by Lazy Bedhead, she was covering Nova Online and Jupiter the Hybrid. For the sake of the conversation, I'm strictly going to talk about the Nova portion. Long story short, Nova was caught being sexually inappropriate with a minor, and he has a diaper fetish / age regression fetish. A problem I have with the video is that there is a disproportionate amount of time focused on his diaper kink. Like, I get it, it is a strange kink, as if I have any room to judge. However, I feel that even if Nova wasn't caught multiple times trying to get and date minors, he would still be called a predator, and that's my contention with this thought process. To me, a strange kink isn't usually grounds to make judgment calls on someone's character. A kink is just something that gets people off, and for the most part, people engage in these kinks responsibly. However, I'm not naive. There can be overlap. Obviously, there can be overlap with, but it's the same way. There's a slight overlap with violent media like music, games, and movies, and people who commit violence. The overlap isn't the media made them commit the action. They were already going to commit a horrible act. The best way to put it is overly horny anime doesn't make someone like White Bowser grope a minor. Bowser already had that dog in him. I don't want to come off as I'm putting Lazy Bedhead's video down. She does, to some extent, give some benefit of the doubt to people with a diaper fetish. To paraphrase her, people with this kink probably know when to shut it off. In fact, I encourage whoever's watching this to watch the video in question. Also, her videos on White Bowser and Andy Ditch. However, this video isn't about lolcows. That's a topic for another day, so let's actually get into the subject at hand. Going back to the thesis of this video of can a kink go too far, the answer is yes, but let's not demonize people with kinks. Kinks don't really go too far, it's paraphilias that go too far. These are disorders that you need to get off. These are disorders like pedophilia and zoophilia, between non-consenting individuals of beings that cannot give consent and harm said people. My mind is that if all parties involved are consenting adults and of sound mind, why should I give a shit? Like, if someone likes adult baby diaper lovers, I'm not going to make a judgment call on you as a person. However, I do reserve the right to say, that's weird, my dude. I'm going to use myself as an example. I have a non-con kink / consent to non-consent, aka grape roleplay fetish. I know grape is wrong. I know from firsthand experience that it's traumatizing and has lasting mental effects, but I like the power dynamic. Me and my partners have done this before. We've laid out what we're going to do before we do it. We have safe words, and most importantly, we're not hurting anyone. At the end of the day, that's the crux of my argument. No harm, no foul. I think as a society, people tend to focus too hard on sexual deviations because they just want to flex how morally righteous they are, or they really don't understand the dynamics at play. First, let's talk about the self-proclaimed righteous. Think they can flex because they don't need such deviations to have fun. Nothing wrong with no spice, but it doesn't make you better. In fact, those who thump their chest the hardest about how morally righteous they are can be the biggest deviants / hypocrites. I speak to this from personal experience and from people in the public eye. I went to a Christian school. I remember the girls and boys who screamed the loudest about how they were waiting until marriage to fucked often. How many gay bashing public figure turned out to chug cock like it was water? How many transphobes were exposed to wanting to fuck trans women? And how many transphobes say trans people are predators turn out to be predators? If you're not kinky and mind your business, that's fine. However, these people can spare me their sanctimonious lectures. However, this is all just my opinion. What do you think about what I said? Do you think kinks can go too far or are problematic for just existing? Tell me in the comments below. If you like what I said, like the video. If you enjoy my art and you want to support my work, please support my work on Subscribestar for early access to art and exclusive art. Follow me on my Twitter, Reddit, and DeviantArt. Now, with all of that said, let's finish off the piece you see before you.